This is what we need to practice. Everybody, starting from the smallest child to the oldest grandfather or grandmother, everybody has to do this every day. And this is called self-analysis. Self-analysis means checking yourself, finding out about yourself. This is the best way in which we can teach ourselves. Because unless we become excellent, we cannot teach others to be excellent. If the teacher makes a mistake, if a leader makes a mistake, then we have a society which is full of confusion, because every person in society has passed through the hands of a teacher. Without teacher, none of us grew up like we have grown up today. So we had a teacher who guided us. Therefore, we need to remember this when we are talking about ourselves as teachers. So we have to do self-analysis. Again, I'll give you an example of COVID. In COVID-19, everybody is saying that if you feel that you are exposed to the infection, keep checking your oxygen level. So they're selling some small item called oximeter. They say, test the oximeter. If your oxygen is good, then don't worry. No problem is there. If your oxygen comes to this level, go to the hospital immediately. That means you have got COVID and it is affecting you. So like that, we have to check our attitude and our behavior. There is no instrument which you can buy in the market, which is called oximeter or, Xerox machine or thermometer or, blood sugar measurement, blood pressure measurement. Such things are not there. X-ray, CT scan, these are not there. These are all health benefits we have. So how are we going to check our attitude and how are we going to check our behavior? At the end of each day, we can sit and try to recollect. Or the end of each hour, if you have free time, you can sit and check your behavior, your attitudes. Today, what did I do which I did wrong? Just now I told you, while I'm speaking, I did self-assessment. And I said that, I became very upset because the program started late. So this is self-analysis. Next time I should understand that many programs can start late also. So the day before, I should tell the organizers that if you say 11, start at 11. If you say 11:30, start at 11:30. Otherwise, tell me program will start 15 minutes late. So that is self-analysis which I did. I need not tell the organizer at the last minute why you did not start. It is my fault. It is not the organizer's fault. Because I thought they will start at 11, it became late. This is not the first time. Sometimes many mistakes are committed because all of us are learning online now. Many other organizers also, I had to tell many things. So this self-analysis I could do immediately as, the program is going on. Then I should also analyze my mind. Every hour, every 2 hours, after speaking to you, I should analyze. What did I say? Is it useful? What did I say? Can anybody make use of it? Like that, if each one of us spends 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour every day, or 2 times a day, or 3 times a day, like we eat, we never forget to eat. So, like that, we need to do some analysis. Now, when we do this analysis, what happens is that we can find what mistakes we made and what we did correctly. That means we can find our positive and our negative also. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes, but nobody is terrible. We all have good points. So our good and bad points, we should be able to judge on a daily basis. If you have The ability to remember, keep it in your mind only, in your soft copy. Otherwise, make a hard copy. Make notes of this. Create a file in your computer if you want, or take a notebook and write down. Today I did these things which are right, these things which are wrong. Today I thought like this, which is right. Today, these many thoughts I thought which are wrong. Today, all of us use social media. And you find on social media many arguments, very, very bad behavior, filthy language, and they are misusing social media a lot. So, can we not bring some positives into social media by saying, I'm using too much social media, so I should control my time? That means you are wasting your time in social media occupation. The other is that I'm only posting negative things. We forward in WhatsApp. Anything comes, we forward. We don't even see. Much of it is fake news. Can we judge? Can we take 5 minutes or 2 minutes to see that this behavior, these attitudes should be corrected? Unless we think every day, unless we analyze every day, we will never be able to correct ourselves. So the first point is self-assessment, testing yourself. Just like when we have some illness, we go to a doctor to get tested. Here, you are the doctor, you are the patient. So self-analysis, self-assessment, we have to do every day. Please don't think that it is only a course which is there when you're in school and college. No, it is a lifelong course. Every minute of our life is an experience, and experience teaches us the maximum. So, if you want to become a good teacher, you must learn from your own experience in order to become a good teacher. They always advertise by saying teaching posts, 5 years experience, 10 years experience. They are given a lot of preference. If they want to advertise for a principal or a headmaster or a dean, they will say, 10 years experience, 20 years experience. Why experience? Because they think experience teaches you much better than your curriculum. Your syllabus, your examination, your memo does not show the level of your education as your experience does. So you will be able to analyze yourself better if you learn from your experience. That is what self analysis is all about. Now, to be a good teacher, I said teaching for excellence. Here are teachers and students. At the beginning of today, I told you that all of us are teachers, all of us are students. So we cannot categorize by saying teachers are those who are professional teachers and students are those who are studying in school, college, university, etc. Let us not make that distinction for today. Let us treat each person as a learner. I'm an old person now, very old, but I still learn every day. You might be younger, but you have to learn every day. You might have finished your qualifications, but you can learn till the last breath of your life. So we need to do that, teaching for excellence. I will share with you three stories, popular stories, since I've told you about Sri Ramakrishna and I've told you about Swami Vivekananda. I'm sharing from the Sri Ramakrishna's Tales and Parables. This is a very interesting book. So much we can learn from these simple stories because all over the world, great people have used stories. We have parables of Christ, we have Aesop's fables from different parts of the world. In India also, we have Panchatantra. We have so many of these stories. They teach us wonderful things. So I'm telling you stories. How to measure excellence. We don't have a scale. We don't have a weighing machine. We have only these stories as measurement. So these three stories I'm sharing with you, two for the teachers and one for the students. And these stories will tell us how we can become excellent. Now, story number one, which many of you might know because these are popular stories, is about a boatman, a person who's rowing the boat, and a pandit, that is a scholar. In India, we have different levels. We have Adhyapak, then we have Upadhyaya, then we have Acharya, then we have Guru. You can imagine the teacher can be only a teacher who tells, explains, finished. Job is finished. I've explained the syllabus. The next teacher shows, not only explains, but also shows how this knowledge can be acquired. That's a good, better teacher. Then the other teacher is the teacher compels you, forces you to learn. You don't want to learn, but the teacher forces you. Sometimes by persuasion, sometimes by negotiation. The teacher forces you. So that is another teacher. And finally, the one who enlightens you. A teacher becomes a guru when the teacher is able to inspire, enlighten. You don't have to look for light outside. The light is within you. Perfection is within you. This is the definition Swami Vivekananda gave. Education is the perfection already within you. So already perfection is there within us. So what happens? Education brings that perfection out. See how beautiful it is? So each one of us is perfect. Each one of us is excellent. Only we don't know it. Now it is up to us to use education to bring it out. One education is formal education. We have National Education Policy 2020, a wonderful format. If it can be implemented properly, it will be a wonderful education system. And who is to implement it? The students and teachers. The government can't implement. The officers who framed the policy cannot implement. The job of implementing is the students and the teachers. The teacher's role to be a leader and, a reimagining the future comes with, if you put NEP 2020 and you start thinking, you will find hundreds and hundreds of examples of how a teacher can make this policy become a reality, make India the global leader in education. The policy is not only a document, the reality is in your classroom. So you need to do that. Then I was continue with the story. So we have this Pandit who is a scholar. He's nothing. He's not a good human being. He's only a scholar. So one day he's crossing a big river in a boat, and the poor boatman is illiterate. The person who drives a boat, the person who rows the boat, is obviously not educated. He's illiterate. So the scholar keeps bragging. He says, I have studied so many books. I have learned so much. Have you read this? Have you read that? Every time this poor man says, no, sir, I have not read anything, he feels very sad. Suddenly, in the middle of the river, a big storm comes, a cyclone comes. Now the boatman says, sir, do you know how to swim? Because we are going to have a storm now. The scholar says, oh, don't worry, I read 20 books on swimming. I am, well versed. I know all the swimming strokes and everything. But sir, I'm asking you, do you know how to swim? He says, no, I don't know how to swim. I only read about swimming. Then the boatman says, all your knowledge is going to go waste because in this storm, I can't save you. Only your ability can save you. See, I told you, leading in crisis at the beginning. This year's motto for the International Teachers' Day is leading in crisis. Now, do you think there is a crisis? The storm has come. Now, who is the leader in this crisis? The boatman, not the scholar. The scholar has many degrees. The scholar has much knowledge and book reading. But the scholar is not the leader here. The teacher, the leader, etc., is this illiterate boatman. So very often what happens to teachers is told in this story. So when we are doing self-analysis, we should remember this story as a measurement. If we know and we keep telling others, oh, I know so much, I'm so excellent, I'm great. Go to the class and tell the students, oh, you know nothing. I'm the greatest. I know so much. Then what happens? The student gets no knowledge, no ability, no practical demonstration, nothing. The student only gets an idea of how much the teacher knows, which is of no use to that student. Therefore, we have to be very careful that our knowledge should bring us humility. This is important. However educated we are, however highly placed we might be the most important person in the country. But what should we have? We should have humility. In our culture, we have a saying, Vidya dadati vinayam. So if you want vinayam, you should have Vidya. Vidya gives vinayam. Now what we see? We see Vidya gives ego. We become very proud. We say, oh, I'm highly educated. That is not correct. So this story tells us that really educated person is a person who helps others, does not show off to others, a person who has not only theoretical knowledge, but also ability to live life properly. Practical knowledge doesn't mean only practicals in the lab. Practical knowledge means ability to live in society like a good human being. Can you imagine a society where everybody has values? We would not have so much crime. We would not have so many courts of law. We would not have so many social evils. All this comes because attitudes and behavior are never corrected. And this story tells us how a teacher should measure attitudes and behavior and always try to make knowledge useful to everybody. If I learn, it is not good enough. To be a teacher, I must be able to transfer my knowledge to all others. Then we have the second story. The second story is again about a teacher. Early in the morning, the teacher has to teach. So the teacher wants to drink some tea. And for the tea, he needs some milk. The little girl who comes to give the milk, we call milkmaid. So the milkmaid comes late every day. The teacher scolds her by saying, if you get late, then I get late for my class. Can't you come on time? Then this little girl says, Master, I come from the other side of the river. Unless the boatman comes in the morning, I cannot cross the river and bring you the milk. The teacher starts bragging. The teacher says, oh, if you have faith, you can walk on the water. Don't you remember how Hanumanji went across? One jump and he reached Sri Lanka. So what you need to do is to have faith. If you have faith, you can walk on the water. From the next day, this little girl comes on time. The master is very impressed. After some days, he asks her, now you have become very punctual, so nice. How did you do it? The girl is surprised. She says, Sir, you told me that I should walk on the river and I'm walking now. The master thinks, this girl is mad. How can anybody walk in that deep river? That is not possible. So the master says, can you show me? See, the teacher is saying something which the teacher doesn't believe. The teacher is just saying for effect. Many of us teach our syllabus like this. We don't believe what we are teaching. We are teaching only because it's there in the syllabus. We should find out why we are teaching it. What the teacher said is excellent. Faith can move mountains. It is there all over the world, this belief that if you have faith, anything is possible. But people don't have faith. They just say that they have faith. So this little girl who's so innocent, who's so childlike, starts walking across the river and goes off to the other end. The teacher says, "Oh, I'm such a great person. If I say somebody can walk on water, they can walk. Now let me also start walking." He goes to the side of the river, but he doesn't have faith in his own words, leave alone faith in God. He doesn't have faith in his own words. He starts lifting his dhoti and getting into the water. So he drowns. He sinks in the water because his own word, which proved to be true for this little girl, did not prove to be true for himself. So you can imagine how, when we teach something, we have to be convinced that we are teaching. Many teachers keep making a fuss by saying, "This syllabus is so terrible, I don't want to teach it," and so on and so forth. Please remember that you are teaching the syllabus because it has some utility which you don't know. You have not found out because you did not do any research. Even school teachers, college teachers have to do research. It is a part of your promotion. But school teachers often don't do. They just teach the same thing for many years. So that is not the kind of research I'm talking about. I'm talking about spending a little time why this syllabus was prescribed. How will this syllabus benefit the student not only to pass an examination, but also to become able to pass the exam of life, how to live life. This is what I want to teach my student by looking at this syllabus. So the syllabus has only subjects related to your area of expertise. But we are not teaching only that syllabus. Suppose you're a maths teacher, all your life you have been teaching 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Then why people become corrupt when they grow up? 1 plus 1 becomes 11 for them. It doesn't become 2. 9 more they added because they didn't have values. They know mathematics, but they don't know values. So in mathematics or in commerce, there are embedded values. In literature, we teach a lot of values, but nobody learns. They go and write the summary in the exam and finished. That is forgotten. So we need not do like that. We have to be a teacher who has to find out the reason for teaching. Now we come to the third story. The third story is about the student. Very often we find that we are not